I don't know why I said to wear the Christmas jumpers. I'm so done with Christmas.
I told you the window of wearing Christmas jumpers was last week. No, we just looked like two clowns. We honestly, you know what we should have done? We should have worn like Easter bonnets, because at least that's more upcoming. The Christmas jumpers.
I was thinking, I'm still in the Christmas spirit. I'm done.
Oh, brilliant. Do you have a good
couple
one,
of days,
Tommy?
though. Good couple of days. Listen, busy lead up to Christmas, but geez, there's something special with kids at Christmas. You know, see it in their eyes, the excitement. I just love Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is the best day of the year.
Yeah,
the excitement, Santa tracker on. You know, leaving the food out for Santa. The elves fecking leaving. It's all win-win.
You don't have one of those elves, do you?
We have two elves.
Oh, you idiot. Honestly, I can help you with stuff like this. Honestly, right? The elf on the shelf is the greatest nonsense of all time. The O'Callaghan's will not have one in the house. We do not encourage squealing in any way. And that's all you're leaving into your house. That fella's grass. Yeah? Or she's...
Oh, so this is values. This is values driven. There's no 100%. Elves allowed in.
No elves allowed in, because all they're going back is telling tales. You know what I mean? And ruining the place.
Yeah, well, ruining the place, more like. Tell you what, although our elves are fairly, they're quite lazy, our elves. They kind of pick and choose when to get up to naughtiness.
Do you know what? Dead right, because some elves go too far. Some people will honestly grow up.
Some people have very, very, very naughty elves, where ours kind of start off extremely naughty. There's almost a few upset kids, and we had to write to Mrs. Claus to ask them to behave themselves.
Okay.
And thankfully they've buck up their ideas a bit now at the minute. But anyway, they're gone.
They're gone. Good luck. God bless elves. Stick to your shelves. Stick your shelves where it doesn't shine. I must say, Tommy, though,
great couple of days.
As joyful as it is, though, the early start doesn't suit me. I know you're used to it now with work and being on the TV, and I did it for a while, but I'm after turning into a house cat, getting up that early, and Robin woke me. You know that kind of fright you get as a parent when you know there's some reason to wake up and they're just standing with the massive kind of puss in boot eyes. They're like, what time is it? Go back to sleep. It's 2:30. And then
what time was it actually? What time did you actually?
2:30 was the first one. 2:30 was the first time Robin came in. And then honestly, on the hour every time after it, you should have seen, honestly, to be fair, if she didn't have a selection box for breakfast, she would have crashed. It was all we could do to keep her going.
We've had chocolate every morning. We've had the advent calendar. Literally, the disappointment since that's finished. What do you mean you can't have chocolate every morning? Stephen said, it's like, where's the chocolate? Yeah. But no, do you not have one of those grow clocks, whatever, the light comes on at at the time they went to get up? No. Oh, yeah, that thing is a life. Any parents looking out now, that thing is a lifesaver. So basically,
don't get up until the clock tells you. Well,
our pair do not leave the bed until the sun comes up in this.
No way. Brilliant.
Honestly. Well, my daughter now, she's old enough, but she knows if she sees one star in it, which means it's like half an hour, she can get up and potter around her room and stuff, but they don't leave. Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's very disciplined. The O'Callaghan's would have that thing hopped off the wall. That'll be fired after the elf. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how you cope with that. Don't know how you cope with that early start. Listen, we have a bone to pick with each other here. We won't get into it. Munster Leinster. Munster Ulster.
Munster Ulster.
Let's start.
You're going to tonight straight away. I like it. Good on you, Tommy.
Let's start. Listen, no one else has done really podcast review in the weekend. We'll give it a quick overview what we thought of the first round of Interpros. We'll look ahead to the Interpros tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk about maybe some of the other matches that happened, and we'll also give our kind of what we're looking forward to in 2025. We'll keep it short, keep it sharp, but for people who are heading to matches over the next couple of days or just out walking the dog.
Get a bit of peace.
We'll get into it. Here, Leinster Connacht. When Connacht threw it out a bit, when they threw the ball about, I was just watching some of it there again, like they looked bloody dangerous.
Yeah, they do.
And Mack Hansen's comments about the referee.
We'll feed it back. We'll feed it back through the referee's boss. as we do.
Can I say something real quick, Pete, about the situation?
Cool.
Because, like, I feel like we get this every week. We never get any calls, ever. I've been feeling this for years now. Like, you can't possibly tell me yourself sitting there, like, checking the Gus McCarthy one. How much did they check that? 10, 11 times? Bundy gets a direct hit to the head. It's quite obvious. No call, doesn't care. It's like, we get that every time. So, I don't know if you can hear the frustration in my voice, because it's starting to get to a point where it's, honestly, it's bullshit, and it's starting to get really frustrating for us, because, you know, people will say we're an inconsistent team, but Jesus Christ, when you're getting some of the calls we're getting, like, of course you're going to be. And as I said, I'm not making excuses by any means, but, like, when you just get it week after week, I feel it's got to be spoken about now, because it's just getting to a point where it's starting to really piss us off.
What do you make of it?
It's the big one, isn't it? Yeah. I think I must say it was a really good game. I enjoyed watching it. It was a full-blooded Interpro, wasn't it? Like, they went at it. The breakdown was an unbelievable fight.
Yeah.
I can sense, I can see why Mack is frustrated and disappointed. And honestly, I kind of nearly take that as a shame on us, people outside the game and journalists and media, because that's been bubbling for a while. Like, we've been chatting about the standard of refereeing. Like,
we have talked about, but what do you want to do?
No, but I think we need to do more. We need to say that it's kind of getting to this point. Like, I don't think... I think he'll get in trouble for that, or he should get in trouble. I coach a Cork on under 10s, and what we always think is values of the game and stuff like that, and he's probably breached that. And if you're going to slap Razzie on the knuckles with something, you probably have to have a look at what Mack said. But the big frustration for me was with Pete Wilkins right beside him. I think a good coach grabs the nettle for his player there. He can sense his frustration, and he either stops him to get him out of trouble, or he grabs the nettle himself. Pete, all Pete said was, we're going to go through the right process.
But that's all you're telling Mack he can do. That was what Pete said. And can you imagine how frustrating it is? Like, they were 10 penalties to 3 down after 43 minutes against Leinster. Leinster were well on top there. But, you know, if you feel you're just defend for a whole 40 minutes, like... Pete Wilkins, the coach, said after the match to comment on Mack's comments. He said, well, like, what do I say? You know, we're told to go through the protocol to talk to the referees. So if I say to them, I don't agree with you here, they'll go, oh, well, yeah, I probably got that wrong. I mean, what good does that do me? And then he said, if the referee then agrees with you and says, oh, yeah, no, I probably got that wrong, then you're equally as frustrated. Like, it's no win. So actually... a player fuming and venting like this, so him saying it's really effing starting to get to us as a team now, like, you could see his frustration.
Yeah, you could.
They just lost. He was really pissed off. And listen, I like that about Mack Hansen. That's the beauty of it. So many players, we are so about the values and being respectful and stuff. But sometimes enough is enough, and sometimes somebody just giving it like that is great. And if he gets a fine, I would say Connacht will probably cop it, because I think he's only doing them a favour. And I'd say in the match tomorrow, they're going to get all the penalties. So Ulster better watch out.
No, but I think the opposite there. I think he's the player. He's the foot soldier. His boss is standing right beside him. If someone...
The coach can't say anything.
No, either can Mack. You know what I mean?
Mack, I think a player can. I think a player can get away with it.
No chance. No player can. But this is a bubbling frustration in the game. Go back, Tommy, to the other Interpro in Croke Park. The exact same referee left the game go on for over 3 minutes with 13 players on the pitch. There was things like a 22 kick brought into the... He, at one point, Chris Busby, the exact same referee, told Tig Byrne, this relationship isn't working anymore. So how long do we leave these poor reffing go on and just all give them...
What can you do about it? Well, like, these are the referees we have, Dunners. There's not much... Like, Chris Busby is a good referee. He's international referee. Like, it's not like we can fly them in from Southern Hemisphere. Do you know what I mean? These are the referees we have. You got to make do with it. And to be fair to Pete Wilkins, he said, to be fair to any of the top coaches, you have to manage the referee, and that's what Leinster are doing. They're managing.
No,
like if you listen to Steve Diamond, the Newcastle manager or coach, he was being asked with this because they played against Bath, and you sent this clip through, and he kind of said, listen, when you're bottom of the table, you don't get the rub of the green. Finn Russell was in the referee's ear the whole time, and he got what he wanted. And to be fair, that's what you used to do years ago. Munster were in the referee's ear all the time, and you used to get the rub of the green. And that's so, you managed it well, we didn't.
Of course, and I'd agree with that, Tommy. I went to Worcester and found the absolute frustration exactly where Mack is there. The frustrating side of never getting it. And they'd all tell you exactly what Mack did. They'd say, go down the referee channels, go down the right channels. And what would happen is we'd get a referee assessor's report back on a Tuesday saying the penalty count was 14-7 against us in the match when it really should have been 10-8 in our favour. So they were like, the penalties are, but it's no good to you.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, so Mack Hansen getting it out there, I think, is better than waiting for a referee report.
No, I agree with the point, but my point is, Razzie grabbed the nettle. Steve Diamond grabbed the nettle. Pete looked at one of his lieutenants taking a shot. Pete should have grabbed the nettle there. He shouldn't have left it to one of his players.
Should he have stepped in when he
100%.
saw Mack? Because Mack kind of said, can I just say something here?
Yeah, honestly, a paw should have gone across his chest and either one, grab it, or two, say we're not going to do it. I was really disappointed with him.
I don't know if I agree. I think fair play to Mack Hansen. He's a character, says it as he sees it. And yet maybe it's not the right thing to do to openly criticise the referees, but you can see their frustration out there. And this is Interpros. There's so much riding on this as well. And to be fair, like I had the same frustration in the other Interpro. Ulster up against Munster. Like there was the red card. Reckless clean out by Tom O'Toole, landing on the centre's knee, red card. But listen, I just
I'm with you. I'm with you, Tommy.
I felt there should have been a second yellow card for Munster going towards the end of the game. Ulster had 76% territory, 70% possession, and they got one yellow card out of it. You know, there's no way they should have got away with that. And I was very.
No,
but you said a Friday night match makes you have to go for a walk. I had to go for a couple. I couldn't even reply to you anymore because you're rubbing me up.
You've been walking since Friday. You did, what's that thing in Spain? The
Camino. Walked all the way to Christmas.
But can we actually talk about the Bowe incident? So can we chat about what frustrated Connacht was the headshot on Bundyaki by Barrett? It just actually a quick side. How good is Barrett?
He's class
my
act.
God, what a player, man!
His skills. He just looks so much time in the ball.
He does nothing wrong.
Yeah. I thought Jamie Osborne, he looked good too. But Barrett looks class. But so it was the shot, and the TMO went over and over and over, replayed it how many times?
Well, that was the frustration that they didn't. So basically, the one for Leinster, they played an awful lot and they took an awful lot of time. Whereas I think Prendergast got frustrated, Connacht's captain, saying, you're reacting to the crowd as opposed to when we're actually telling you stuff. This is the exact same thing that happened to Ty Byrne in that one. He was kind of saying, I need to be able to talk to you about the breakdown. And I think we're losing a bit of that. Whatever about referees and the frustration of making the right decision, I actually think their social skills with interacting with the players are shocking. We've said it here before. I don't think they're training with squads enough to actually build up that...
The rapport,
like it's just not there. But I'll be honest with you. I thought it was side entry by Barrett. So the angle he comes into, there is contact with the head. If you did slow it down enough times, you could see that one being a penalty or a yellow card. And in the past, we've seen him red. You know.
Yeah. Like this, but this is what I'm saying. You could see the frustration.
Yeah.
And I think I just think sometimes enough is enough, and Mack Hansen obviously felt the same and vented
But
it.
then, what about the one Tom O'Toole's one? Like Tom O'Toole's clean out on Nankivell. For me, I don't think there is any malice at all. He is
Totally.
and he's quite aware, I think, for a big man that I can't hit him on. I'm not going to make any contact, head and shoulders.
Hit him straight on.
No, the only thing is it was a little bit, and I don't mean to be harsh. I'm big as well. But that clumsy bit at the end where he ends up falling on his leg, he did not mean that. I genuinely don't think there's any intent to hurt him in any way.
It's dangerous. It's absolutely, they're trying to stamp it out of the game. And he landed on Nankivell's knee, which could have resulted in an ACL. Last thing we want to see, like you've seen them trying to take away the tin openers where they twist them, the croc rolls. Like they're trying to make the breakdown safer. I could totally get that. And listen, he probably is a red card. It just ruins an interpro. It just really frustrates me, these red cards. When they're trying to clean up the game, absolutely. Like, I loved the autumn, this 20-minute red card. But Tom O'Toole gets penalised. He misses the next couple of weeks, big time. He suffers a punishment for it. But the people who are there watching the game, and to be fair, Ulster put it up to Munster for the rest of the game. But you're 14 men against 15 for 50 minutes. You've paid a lot of money for tickets to go to this game because one clumsy mistake, it ruins it. The whole atmosphere got pulled out of that. Now, it was a shocking first half of rugby, probably the worst terrible. First 40 minutes of game rugby I've seen. The second half was bloody good, though.
No, it was, yeah. You're right. The first half, I went up to watch the week before, UCD played Con down in Con, and that was a bit, I swear, Tommy, I'm not just saying it, better standard of rugby. If you're looking to watch a product, that was better than that first half. The thing is, here, I'll put this to you though, is the problem the breakdown? So the two incidents we're chatting about, we need to get off our high horse as rugby union and actually grab and just say, fucking, we need to sort the breakdown. The breakdown is leading to all these problems. Think of what
you want to get rid of poachers, don't you?
Yeah, well, look at the two. No, I don't want to get rid of poachers. I think it's an incredible skill. But what we're ending up with is all these shitty moments that are ruining our game, and it's all we're talking about because they're not making the correct calls on them, and the correct calls is wrong. They're not being consistent. The lack of consistency is so frustrating. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's yellow. If Tom O'Toole is John Cooney and falls on his leg, he doesn't get hurt. So that's not even a penalty. So we're leaving it open to all this stuff. If we're going to keep going, I think rugby union needs to actually grow a pair of balls and say we're going to look after our breakdown and we're actually going to bring it back to being a physical contest. So you have to ruck over a ball. Like, look what you do nowadays. No, it just
shoe and bring back the studs again.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. Just win the space. So what do all the teams do now? You don't, it's certain breakdowns, you don't even contest them. So you leave 3 attacking players in a breakdown with no defending players. So you've 15, either like 3 in your backfield and 12 in the front. So, like,
well, you have 14 generally. There's 1 in the backfield these days. I mean, teams are filling the field. Exactly. So there's nowhere to attack.
Or else, just honestly, I think we have such arrogance about rugby league. And we're wrong. They've fixed this problem. You cannot contest the ball. So just leave it. It's like, make it a play of the ball, make it like rugby league, but don't leave us in this limbo of shite that we're watching at the moment and every week having 2 incidents ruin both games.
Well, I don't think we want to go down rugby league, but I do think that they have sorted that out. I would like to see. Well, come on. Let's not get into it because I do. No, that's obviously your thing.
Why? Because we're rugby union and we're so up our own ass. They have a a way better product. When you go to watch that game, it rolls, man. There's no moments like this.
But there's no breakdown. There's no challenge. Like, that's what separates the games. Is the contest. The contest of the line out, the contest on the ground, the contest in the scrum. Like, that's what sets it apart. That's in what you could, the contest up in the air, which there is, and they do that all the time. Because that's where you can change momentum. Like, that is a beauty of the game.
We're taking
but
away.
It's players cheating. Like if you think about the Richie McCaws, the guys. No, sorry, Richie McCaw didn't cheat all the time, but he was always on the line.
Yeah.
Those good sevens, like Tyke Byrne is a fantastic poacher of the ball. But he's so like you have to be on the letter of the law on that, and that comes down to interpretation. So
But
the breakdown is definitely a challenge, and you can see
you.
by the referees, it's tough for them.
You could name them before, people that were good at poaching balls. There was Brousseau, there was Richie McCaw, there was probably Johnny O'Connor in Connacht. They were the names that people would have talked about. You nailed it there. Right now, everyone can do it. Nankerville, Bundyaki, name a player, they're all good at poaching.
We have to. I mean, Jesus, outside backs, wingers, we were doing lessons on poaching.
Yeah,
just part of the game.
But my point is, everything evolves. It has moved to the point, whereas before that was a closed skill, unique to a few. Now everyone's good at it. So the threats are everywhere. Like you remember, you play against Johnny O'Connor. The saying was always push him on the ground, get him out of the way. Whereas now, like you mentioned, it, Tyke Burns a second row. He's more over a ball. There's no one more lethal. You know,
we'll talk about this again. Like, it's definitely one for another podcast where we can really get into the weeds and have a good think about it, because it is something that they have to address. I am mindful that we told people it is going to be a short pod and they're wanting to go to matches here. So I do want to talk about a few other things. Like, we've talked about Europe, what a crap it was, how they've got it wrong. You look at the URC of those kind of inter-pro matches. Ulster against Munster, 3 points in it. Benetton beat Zebra by 1 point. Stormers, to be fair, a good win against the Lions. Sharks only beat the Bulls by 3 points. Ospreys beat Scarlets by 1 point. Leinster, good win against Connacht by 12 points. And Glasgow, good win up against Edinburgh. But like, they're tight. These inter-pros, these derbies, it's what people love. Like, we need more of this. And like, even like, you kind of think Scottish rugby over the last, there were years where people were wondering where was going. Like, they're playing in Hampden Park, they're playing in Murrayfield, they're going to have 30,000 for both those games. Like, it's fantastic. And Welsh rugby is the one that I worry about at the minute, because Ospreys Scarlets was always a hell of a fixture. Yeah. It was down to 6,000 this weekend, but I think that's because they normally play on Stephen's Day. It's normally Liberty Stadium. They had to change, but I just love that. They're really tight games, exactly what we want from Europe.
Exactly, and badly needed after the last 2 weeks we had. It was a joy watching it this weekend. If you haven't, like, I know it's been busy, but you do yourself a favour, even watch the highlights of the URC this weekend. It was top drawer. Like, you mentioned that, the Ospreys Scarlets game, like, it was so... But that's what's great about the rivalries, isn't it? And I think we should play up to that a little bit more.
More of it.
Yeah, it was great. It was great rugby.
I do, honestly, I love it. I think it's so good, and it means so much. Like, even Zebra, like 1 point away from like class. Let's talk about looking ahead into 2025 quickly, because I know people, maybe they do want a bit of a longer podcast, but we're on our holidays here.
I love the way we're there. We'll only keep you 5 minutes. Every fella, like, there's dogs going, will you wrap it up, lads, will you? Your man's going for another lap here.
Looking for the year ahead. What are you looking forward to? What if you could have one thing? Lions, you have Six Nations, Munster, Ireland.
The Lions every time. I can't wait for this one. And I'm so thankful to Joe Schmidt for what he did in Twickenham, because I was fearful it was going to be a damn squid. I know there's chats about his contract and stuff like that, but wow, he's got them back facing north, doesn't he? They look a good team, and I know this sounds nuts. Of course, we're shouting for the Lions, but I'd love if we won a 2-1. Imagine if Australia came out to a belter, Tommy, and look,
unbelievable. It would actually be so good if they got off to a good start, just to kind of put the cat amongst the pigeons a bit, you know? Because like, the Lions have the ability to win the next two, no bother. Yeah. But imagine it was 1-1, going into the last one.
Yeah. The funny thing is, the Lions is so important for lighting fires in any boy or girl with ambitions to excel in the game. I'll never forget watching 97. I never thought I'm going to be a Lion, but I wanted to be better at playing and enjoy our game an awful lot more. And to be fair, what went on in South Africa was so disappointing. And I look at my own kids, it didn't light them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't get that love for it. So I think this is a really important tour that we need to get right. We need characters on the tour as well. I know that even sounds, but like if you look at everything now, Formula One, even the darts, man. The darts are starting to give you a bit of insight into, but the
Luke Littler and all,
yeah.
yeah.
You know about them and you feel for it, and that's what draws a bigger audience. The sooner rugby realizes we've a brilliant game and it's full of values and stuff, but we are in the entertainment business, and at the moment it is too flat. You know, we got
but this is what Mack Hansen did. He just showed a bit of personality. They're telling him off.
No, I'm not telling him off.
You're saying you can't do it.
You can't do it. I'm not faulting him for doing it.
This is where I can't understand, because the values in rugby, yes, say we don't step outside the line. We don't do that. But if you're going to grow the game, we want to see more personality. We want to see the players step outside the line. We want to know them. We want to understand them. And that, I thought, was refreshing.
Agreed. He's got it in spades, though. We've known that about Mack Hansen from the very start. That fella is blockbuster, great value, great fun, and cares, and deeply cares about his teammates. And look, it all just came to a head. I'm just saying, if we're tough on Razzie, which we were for when he did it, we have to be tough on Mack, and we have to set a value. I'm not just saying it, but I bring my kids to rugby to learn that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To learn respect, to learn. So we have to have our role models shown that. So I have to be able to show Robin and Jake, Mack said this about the referee, and here are the consequences. You know, but my big frustration with that, and I'm going to go back over it, I couldn't believe that as a leader, I saw one of the foot soldiers dive on a grenade. You know what I mean? You mentioned it. Steve Diamond jumped out there. Razzie jumped out there. Pete needed to.
I just think if Pete says it, it's not going to get the attention. Mack says it, people listen. Do you know what I'd like?
Go on.
I saw actually Jerry Thornley talk about this. I think he's totally right. I think Ireland home matches need to be played in Croke Park from now on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see it.
50,000 capacity stadium, the Aviva, wonderful stadium. It's not big enough for Six Nations. For England and France in the Six Nations, like if you think about the other international teams in Six Nations, the next biggest after, so the Aviva is 49,000. The next biggest after that's Murrayfield, 67. They've 17,000 more seats than Dublin. Yeah. Then you have the Principality in Cardiff, that's 74. You have Twickenham's 82. Like the ticket prices for these matches, 160 quid for a ticket to go to the game. Like and like that's probably category 1. But like it's a lot of money, and it's driving supporters away. Like I was at the Autumn Internationals, I was at the New Zealand game, I was at the Argentina game. I didn't enjoy the spectacle. There's too many people there who are there for the day out, as opposed to actually rugby supporters. And I think have it in Croke Park, 82,000 people there, reduce the ticket prices. You're not allowed to drink, which I know people might not like, but at the same time, for the sake of the 80 minutes of the game, go out there, enjoy it, and get stuck in and support. Personally, that's what I'd like to see in 2025.
Yeah, I like it. I saw Jerry Thornley mention it. I back both of you. I think it's a great call. As well with Croke Park, and both of us know from playing on it, the pitch is the rugby pitch is quite small. I know they do it in Thomond Park. I wonder, could you put in temporary seating along either end if you were to shorten the pitch? Could you make it bigger, is what I'm saying. Also, Tommy, could you imagine it? Like, we played England there once and we've beaten them. Just the responsibility to look after our house every time that we played them there. You know what I mean?
It's a historical ground for any Irish player.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I just say, listen, Aviva probably signed a contract. It's not going to happen. But I just think, when I see the ticket prices, and I was at those matches in the autumn, Again,
I agree with
something
you.
that could
Well
do
done,
with
well done for
changing.
saying it. Well done to Jerry Thornley for saying that these are the things we need. These are proper issues now within the game that we need to be chatting about. And you know what I mean? Instead of the kind of nonsense of it, you know what I mean? That's a good one.
Big time. How do you grow it? Like, how do we get more young people into it and stuff? Obviously, the breakdown is something we'll definitely address, and we'll talk with Croke Park again. Let us know what you think if you are listening to this. Let us know. Would you like to see that? Could you see it happening? Would the GA say, piss off? Do you know what I mean? We don't want your game here.
They left Gareth Brooks in there 5 times. I know what the GA will say.
Well,
They'll
listen,
say,
that was half the
money.
GA supporters were there for that. Me
The GA will
included.
turn into Jerry Maguire. Help me, help you. But even I don't want to be too harsh on that. I wonder, are we probably using the Aviva a little bit too much? It's special place. It is like, honestly, for me, it's our home for rugby. I don't want to take away from that. But what you're saying is bigger days deserve using
The New Zealand game.
Yeah.
The New Zealand game, England, France, definitely Six Nations.
Yeah.
Just grow the game, give more people like the amount. I've never had it. The amount of people asking me for tickets. This ever. For these 2 matches in the Six Nations. People ask you a lot. Any chance of getting tickets? I've never had the amount of requests already for these 2 games.
Yeah, it's through the roof, always is. And the thing is, when someone's paying that amount for a ticket, I personally find it very hard to kind of go, listen, fella, sit down, we're watching the match. If you paid that amount of money, fella, you know what I mean? You can...
Yeah, if you want to go get a few pints, go for it.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah,
totally.
Would you have you mentioned them there? That's kind of World Rugby. But would you have one for Ulster? What would you know what I mean? By the end of next year, is there a wish for Ulster from Tommy?
They've signed Abrams, his big back rower coming in. Yeah. I think that the IRFU, with the strength of Leinster now at the minute, with their Barretts and Snymans, with being able to play in the Aviva and Croke Park, the strong are only getting stronger. And I think what these Interpro derbies have shown us is that to grow the game for the love of the game, it has to be tight. It has to be competitive. Munster, Leinster today has to be competitive. Yeah. And rivalries only live by both teams feeling that they can win. And I think if from Ulster's point of view, I think for Munster and I think for Connacht, they should all be allowed a big international signing covered by the IRFU to bring through, inspire young players in each of the provinces, to inspire supporters to come along and watch, and to inspire the teams to be able to be that bit more competitive and close the gap on Leinster, because I just see it going one way at the minute.
Yeah, look, when you even look at it, Munster having to field, you know what I mean, a tight head, a loose head, you know what I mean? That's nearly not even fit for purpose. But you're right.
Keane Healy played tight head too. You could say that. But Leinster, some of the back rowers and the players in that Leinster team, they haven't played. Well, they've played a handful of games and they're still unbelievable quality. They're still able to rest so many players.
Agreed. And look, we heard Leo chatting about the influence the likes of the Barretts have had on a younger generation. So that's... And I've been there. John Langford was that for me. I learned what good was from Jim Williams. Of course, I had my other teammates that I aspired to be like. But when you take someone from outside the environment and you plant them in, and it's real simple, just get all the Barretts. Like, imagine we sign all the Barretts and then just move them around. They're that good, man, and they get it all. I
think the dad played in Meath. They played Gaelic football growing up. Who do you want?
I'll take the dad, man. Give me the main bull. I've no doubt Daddy Barrett could go in and play tight head and sort everything out. Those Barretts are incredible. Signed a lot of them.
Bring them all to Ireland. Munster can have the dad. That's not a bad shout. But again, like you said with Jim Williams, Charles Piatow made Jacob Stockdale the player he was in those years. Ruan Pienaar inspired that Ulster support for years. The impact a brilliant world-class player can have in these provinces is amazing. I know the IRFU are trying to save costs. I know the provinces are all trying to have to cut their teeth. But I think competitiveness is what drives this league, is what drives rugby, is what drives provinces.
Yeah, and look, the model's very different. Like we mentioned, we did have I had a central contract, but there was more of them, and other second rows had them, so the pot was varied. But of course, it has condensed now because thankfully the value's gone up, but something needs to shift. Something needs to happen. But yeah, sign the Barretts.
Barretts are coming to Ireland. Well done, lads. Connacht Ulster tomorrow. Quickly touch on that. I think that's going to be a hell of a game. Connacht are going to be good at home. Ulster, listen, as I said, Ulster, they had 76% territory, 70% possession. Just couldn't bloody score. Like the work they had to go through. But they're on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah. This is a big one for Richie, isn't it? It's probably trying to keep everyone in. But do you know that kind of saying, like, when you know when you're going through hell, keep going. Like, keep picking and backing those young fellas. I think like that is the answer. Agreed. I do feel sorry for them. They could do with a few of those kind of good compasses within the environment that would help a group like that.
I gather Richie Murphy and Pep Guardiola are in deep conversations at the minute.
Do you know what I was thinking?
Good mates. Go way back.
Ben Murphy, we were tough on him about his box kicking. See how good it was, man. I love that.
That's just you fucking second row watching once and it's box kicks. If he's Richie Murphy's son, he's going to be a hell of a box kicker.
Well, could I be a bit harsh? And we don't like picking on fellas, especially young fellas. It's much improved, and you can see that's a good measure of someone. That
he's a good player.
Do you know what I was thinking? Did you see Richie was in the crowd? I was always interested. Does he get invited into the family room afterwards? Because if you imagine, right, tomorrow night, like he's going against him, but if you're in the family room, you're able to see who's got the ice pack on there, or you know what I mean, who's dragging their arse, or who didn't come in.
Richie Murphy is not allowed in there. Richie Murphy has bigger fish to fry right now. He's got his work cut out. But if he gets a win in Connacht in the sports ground, he could do whatever the fuck he wants.
I know you're disappointed about it, Tommy, but I loved it. Munster's win meant everything to me, purely because
I was sickened.
Do you know why? We shouldn't have won it nearly. You know what I mean? We played.
We shouldn't have won it. Like,
no,
and also we're down to 14 men.
Yes, fella.
Tom Farrell, though. Tom Farrell.
What a player.
Wow. He continues that form. Like, we've already a lot good strength and depth there in centre, but he was brilliant. Now, Ulster's defence. Oh, I can't go into it, Donncha. I'm still very upset.
Can I say the defence is really bad, Tommy, man. Just honestly, you get all the feels that if you just run straight at Ulster, they're like, no.
Don't tell Connacht are listening to this.
Don't worry, they're all fine. The Connacht are grand. Bundy isn't annoyed. Mack isn't annoyed. Keane Prendergast isn't annoyed.
Connacht are definitely not listening after you slag them off at the top of the show.
Well,
poor Pete Wilkins.
No, I wasn't slagging them off. One thing, I did think they got a tough time. Whatever about that incident, the scrum was disgraceful. Leinster at one point had a loose head with his arm on the ground, and the penalty count was 4-0 against them. But Leinster
Let's move on.
All right, Leinster got penalties where poor old Connacht got free kicks. Come on, move on to anything you want.
Well, I have to talk the big game. Can Munster win tonight?
Can Munster win?
Leinster, Thomond Park. Huge game. Always so much excitement. Everybody in the build-up's looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is a big one, isn't it? Yeah, it's tough. Like you mentioned, like they're a super province now, aren't they? You know, like just with the. But there's a few knocks and bangs. I was disappointed to see kind of Jack Conan missing out that with a bit of an injury and stuff like that. So, look, hopefully we get a performance from Munster, because I'll be honest, since you didn't
see it, like they won against Ulster, but geez, you wouldn't be worrying Leinster with that performance.
No, you wouldn't probably, yeah. But did we ever worry anyone with a performance? You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's different in Thomond. It's different, and it will be different. There's always lift the game for this one.
Of course, and look, it goes right back to basics. Genuinely, right? If they go out and they let fly, I want to honestly chat next week or even after it and go. To be fair, they couldn't have given that anymore, but they just came up against. You know what I mean? Some of these super players that are just at a different level at the moment. But that's
going to be a cracker of a game. Leinster, 10 games in a bounce so far this season. Already looking pretty, 8 out of 8 in the league.
The thing is, though, Tommy, for that, what's his name? Sean O'Brien try. I think that there's little crumbs of how to beat the blitz every time. You know what I mean? If you can get to that age, and then on the last shooter that's coming out like that, if you've someone with a skill set that can make that
But that's what Connacht can do. Like, and Prendergast passed the 2v1, loved that as well.
Brilliant.
Like, Connacht can do that. I just felt, and that's where the frustration was with Mack Hansen. They just didn't get to play any rugby in that first half.
Yeah. And
12-0 down, 14-0
there's
down.
The one though, you look at it though, you're kind of going, Leinster's lineup wasn't firing.
No.
And if you look at their Lions performance, their Clermont performance, and Connacht, there is a few. If you were Toulouse, if you were La Rochelle, if you're a few of the bigger names, you're like...
Certainly not if you're Munster, though. Good luck, lads. Listen, good luck. We both need it this weekend. Listen, that's it for today. Look
Tommy,
at us with the Christmas jumpers.
You're so down over it.
I am. I'm so good at that game. Really ruined my Christmas. It really ruined my
People
Christmas.
have no idea how much it means, though. People listening here do. They get it. You know what I mean? Because all the Ulster fellows went through the exact same stuff. It's karma, though, for you putting us in the same boat as he.
And I'm just looking at myself with my Christmas jumper on, thinking you're a feckin' idiot. Go on. Listen, enjoy the match. Yeah, we'll see you next Friday. Yeah. And thanks everybody for listening to us. I think we're episode 12 now. Feedback we're having is just unbelievable. Yes. So going into 2025, expecting big things now for the podcast. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for all the support. Thanks for supporting 15 Kings and for them supporting us as well. And an exciting, really exciting year ahead. So looking forward to it, Dunners.
Yeah, good on you. Well done, Tommy boy.